Good morning, dear student. In previous lecture, we already discussed phospholipids, different types of phospholipids. So in today's lecture, we are very much interested in the glycolipids. So this is also the type of compound lipids. So phospholipids, glycolipids, lipoproteins. These are the examples of compound lipids. So we already discussed this phospholipids. So let's discuss this glycolipids. So what is this glycolipids? These glycolipids, an amino alcohol such as sphingosine or isosphingosine, attach with amide linkage to a fatty acids and glycosidically to carbohydrate moiety such as sugar, amino sugar, and silic acid. So, what is this glycolipids? Uh, it is defined as, or these contain an amino alcohol such as sphingosine or isosphingosine. So, glycolipids contain an amino alcohol such as sphingosine or isosphingosine attached with attached with attached with amide linkage attached with amide linkage to a fatty acid, amide linkage of fatty acids attached with linkage to a fatty acid and and glycosidically 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 to a carbohydrate moiety or residue, carbohydrate moiety such as sugar, amino amino sugar, and silic acid. So, what is this glycolipids? They contains an amino alcohol such as sphingosine or isosphingosine attached with amide linkage to a fatty acids and glycosidically to a carbohydrate moiety such as sugar, amino sugar, and silic acid. These glycolipids are further classified into two types. So they are classified into two types. They are classified into two types. First, that is cerebrosides. First, that is cerebrosides, and second, that is gangliosides. Gangliosides. So you should remember this point. These glycolipids classified into two types. One is cerebrosides and second is gangliosides. So let us discuss first the cerebrosides and then we discuss the gangliosides. So these cerebrosides, these cerebrosides contain galactose, contain galactose, a high molecular weight fatty acid. So these cerebrosides contain galactose, it is a sugar residue, high molecular weight fatty acids, and and sphingosine. Sphingosine. Therefore, uh, this cerebroside may also known as sphingolipids. Therefore, therefore, they may also known as sphingolipids. So, glycolipids contain sphingosine or isosphingosine, fatty acids, and sugar. Different moiety, carbohydrate moiety such as sugar, amino sugar, and silic acid. So, in these cerebrosides, it contains galactose as a sugar residue, high molecular weight fatty acids, and sphingosine as a alcoholic group, and therefore they are also known as sphingolipids. One more important point regarding to this cerebroside is they are differentiated by the type of fatty acid in the molecule. They are differentiated or identify. They are differentiated by by the type of by the type of fatty acid by the type of fatty acid in the molecule. So these cerebrosides are differentiated by the type of fatty acid in the molecule. For example, if you see the example of this cerebroside, the first example is kerosene. First example is kerosene. It contain lignoceric acid. It contain lignoceric acid. So whatever the fatty acid which is present, it is the lignoceric acid, and therefore this kerosene, it contains lignoceric acid. If we see its molecular formula, then it is CH3 CH2 22 times COOH group is there. So this kerosene contain lignoceric acid, that is fatty acids, then galactose residue is there, and then sphingosine is also there. So this is the example of cerebrosides, kerosene. So they are identified or differentiated by the type of fatty acid in the molecules. If the lignoceric fatty acid is present, then it is a kerosene cerebrosides. Another example is the cerebrone. The second example is cerebrone. This is second example of this cerebrosides. It contain hydroxy. It contain hydroxylignoceric acid. It contain hydroxylignoceric acid, cerebrone. Okay, and it if you see its formula, CH3 CH2 21 time, then CHOH COH group is there. So the difference between kerosene and cerebrone is only the hydroxyl derivative. So kerosene containing lignoceric acid and cerebrone contain hydroxylignoceric acid. Again, the third example is the nervone. Nervone. Okay. NERVON. Nervone. It contain the unsaturated homologue of lignoceric acid called nervonic acid. So it contain unsaturated means it contain carbon carbon double bond, contain unsaturated homologue of lignoceric acid, contain unsaturated homologue of lignoceric acid called nervonic acid, called nervonic acid. If you see its formula, then it is CH3 CH2 7 times, then it is CH double bond CH CH2 13 times having COH. And one more example of this cerebroside is oxynervone. The fourth one is oxynervone. Oxynervone. So this oxynervone containing hydroxynervonic acid. It contains hydroxynervonic acid. So at least you should know the important components of these cerebrosides and their examples. We are not goes into very much details about these cerebrosides and ganglioside, but at least what is glycolipids, how what are the different types of glycolipids, you should remember these points. So cerebrosides, it contain the sugar residues such as galactose, high molecular weight fatty acids, and sphingosine as a alcoholic group, and they are differentiated by the type of the fatty acid present in the molecule. So the example is kerosene. It contains lignoceric acid, fatty acid, that is lignoceric acid. Cerebrone is there, hydroxylignoceric acid. Nervone is there, that is unsaturated residue of lignoceric acid, and oxynervones. So these are the example of cerebrosides. Let us discuss the second type, that is gangliosides. It is gangliosides. These gangliosides, they are glycolipids occurring in the brain. So they are found in brain. Glycolipids occurring in the brain. They are glycolipids occurring in the brain. These glycolipids, gangliosides contain. So it contain ceramide. It contain ceramides, means what is this ceramide? That is the sphingosine plus fatty acid. Sphingosine plus fatty acids. It contains ceramides, sphingosine plus fatty acid, then glucose, galactose, again N-acetyl, galactosamine, and silic acid. Galactosamine and silic acid. So you should know. So these glycolipids, they are contain amino alcohols such as sphingosine, isosphingosine, fatty acids, and carbohydrate moieties such as sugar, amino sugar, and silic acid. The cerebroside containing the galactose, sphingosine, and fatty acids, while this ganglioside containing sphingosine, fatty acids, and sugar molecules such as glucose, galactose, N-acetyl, galactosamine, and silic acid is also there. So this is all about these gangliosides. So let us discuss the next important compound lipids, that is lipoproteins. So at least you should know what is glycolipids, what are the different types of glycolipids, that is cerebrosides, gangliosides, what is the component of these cerebrosides and gangliosides and their examples. So let's discuss the next one, that is lipoprotein. 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 So they contain triacylglycerol 45%, triacylglycerol 45%. So this lipoprotein contain triacylglycerol 45%. Second, phospholipids. Phospholipids 35%. Phospholipids 35%. Cholesterol and cholesterol ester. Cholesterol ester, that is up to 15%. And also the protein moiety is also there. So these are all combined to forms the lipoproteins, hydrophilic lipoprotein complex. So they will forms hydrophilic lipoprotein complex. Hydrophilic lipoprotein complex. So this lipoprotein, it contain triacylglycerol, phospholipid, cholesterol esters, and protein moiety is there, and therefore they will forms hydrophilic lipoprotein complex. Again, the second important point regarding to this lipoprotein is that the density of the lipoprotein is increases as the protein content is rises and the lipid content falls. So whatever the density of this lipoprotein, density of lipoprotein, it is directly proportional to the protein content. Protein content, density of lipoprotein is directly proportional to the protein content, while it is inversely proportional to the lipid content. While it is inversely proportional to the lipid content. So the density of this lipoprotein, it is increases as the protein content of this lipoprotein is increases and the lipid contents is decreases. So it is directly proportional to the protein content and inversely proportional to the lipid content. Again, they are separated on the basis of their electrophoretic properties and may be identified more accurately by means of immunoelectrophoresis. The third important point is that, so regarding to this lipoprotein, at least you should know it contain the combination. It is a combination of triacylglycerol, phospholipid, cholesterol ester, proteins. Again, the density of lipoprotein directly proportional to the protein content and inversely proportional to the lipid content, and they are separated or they are differentiated. So the important point is that they are separated. They are separated on the basis of their electrophoretic properties. So we are very much familiar with this electrophoresis word, because we already discussed it is in TYBSc. So they are separated on the basis of their electrophoretic properties. Again, if you see the classification of lipoprotein, such as we know that these glycolipids are classified into two types, cerebrosides and gangliosides. Similarly, these lipoproteins are classified into four types, First one is the chylomicrons. So let us discuss the classification of this lipoprotein. So they are classified into four types. Uh, First one is the chylomicrons. First one is chylomicrons. Second, very low density lipoprotein. Very low density lipoprotein. In short, it is denoted as capital VLDL, very low density lipoprotein. A third, that is low density lipoprotein. Low density lipoprotein, it is LDL, low density lipoprotein. And the last one, that is high density lipoprotein. High density lipoprotein. So you are very much familiar with this LDL and HDL. The words are very common regarding to the cholesterol moiety, that is LDL cholesterol and HDL cholesterol. High density lipoproteins and low density lipoprotein means low density cholesterol and high density cholesterols. So we are not very much interested into this low density and high density lipoprotein. So at least you should know this classification. So the components of lipoproteins, their properties and their classification. If you consider this LDL, that is low density lipoprotein, they contain the prominent lipid is cholesterol. So in this, the prominent lipid is cholesterol. The lipid is cholesterol, that is up to 46%. The LDL, low density lipoprotein containing the cholesterol, and the second, that is phospholipids. Phospholipids, it is up to 23%. And if you consider this HDL, so you are search for this LDL and HDL cholesterol, you get more information regarding to this LDL and HDL. So the second one, it contain phospholipids. So prominent lipid is phospholipids. Phospholipid, that is up to 27%, and it contain a protein moiety. It contain protein moiety up to 45%. It contain protein moiety up to 45%. So this is regarding to the glycolipids and lipoproteins. In the next lecture, we are very much interested in the derived proteins, which is obtained by the hydrolysis of these simple proteins and compound simple lipids and compound lipids. Thank you.